Good morning, and welcome to Breakfast with Boyden. I'm George Cangiano, a principal in Boyden's Boston office, and I'm so excited to have my friend and colleague, Jamie Graceffa, here today. Jamie's the founder and author of Kind Cards, and he's also a professional speaker, facilitator, and an HR leader in the areas of learning, talent, organizational development, the total employee experience. He's also the author of the book Career Control, and he's been working in human resources for nearly 30 years. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you, George. When I hear 30 years, I'm like, whoa, okay. It's been that long. Thank you so
Seem,
much for having me. So thrilled to be here with you, my friend.
of course, seems like yesterday, right?
Yes, it does. In many
So,
ways, it does.
so Jamie, you and I have served on a few panels over the years, but I remember our first time together. And it was our dear friend Rita Allen who brought us together for the first time. And I remember I was immediately drawn to your energy, your passion, and your expertise around proactive and intentional workforce engagement. And that really resonated with me as, I was in a large university in the Boston area building what we call positive organizational culture. So I think from then you and I just like-minded hit it off. But one of the things that I was so intrigued with was your concept of kind cards.
Mm.
So I'd love to talk about kind cards. So what inspired you to create them? How do they work and who's using them?
And I do thank you for that because I remember that instantly, and I was so thrilled we were local because I wanted to know you better. So in 2020, I found myself leading culture and inclusion. I had not done it before. So I really had to study what makes a positive employee experience. And I'm like, well, I've been an employee for well over 30 years if you count my first job. So I started evaluating my experience. Why did I stay at companies longer than I should have from a developmental and opportunity standpoint? And why at one company was I not that happy for the first year and a half, only to take a lateral move? Same title, same pay, same type of work, actually sitting not too far from where I was and thrive for 10 plus years, right? Why is this? Because the way I was treated. And the work that I'm pulled into, it is very people centric, which is good because I work at HR, but it's usually a leader that is not leading human, or they have some development opportunities, or teams that are working around each other rather than with each other. So I'm like, okay, so I think the employee experience is mostly made up by how we are treated by the people we work for and with. Full stop. I'm not saying that development isn't important or that we need to have compensation has to be on point and the job should be interesting. I'm not saying that they don't matter, but it begins and ends with how we are treated by the people we work for with. I'm like, okay, so what's the remedy? I'm like, kindness. Kindness is the remedy. We talk about it a little bit, or we work around the word kindness. We have EQ, doesn't always land with people.
Mm.
Empathetic leadership, maybe it lands with some folks, but it implies leaders only. And we have MBTI, and we have DISC, and we have colors, and we have letters. And I don't know if it always lands with everybody. Kindness does. We are
Mm.
taught kindness at such a young age, right? Say hi to the new kid. Share your sandwich if they forgot theirs. Same principles, same impact at work. Welcome your new colleague. Take them out to lunch or have a virtual lunch with them. Or share yours if they forgot theirs. It just, we all know what it's like to be kind. We know what it's like when people are unkind. But, George, with that, we don't use the words kind, kinder, and kindness at work. We love it outside of work, but we don't say kind leader, we say effective leader. So I was looking for a tool to teach kindness because I think it's a skill. Some people are better at it than others. And I was really interested why we don't usually actually use the words. So I went to where I usually go looking for tools, and I found nothing that relates to kindness in the workplace, that connection. So I wrote the deck of cards. I said, well, someone's got to do it. So it led me to cards because I love cards as a teaching tool. And we're in a TikTok society, right? We like chunks of information now. So I'm
Mm.
like, well, and that's how I really got to writing the cards.
Oh, that's awesome. And really, when you talk about kindness, That really is the catalyst for culture, isn't it? And we hear today more than ever that it's just paramount that we're creating a culture of where people can bring their best and authentic selves every day. And what more than kindness in an institution can really get to that? So I thank you. So why do you think kindness looks and feels so different in the workplace compared to our personal lives?
I love this question because I ask it a lot when I'm
Yeah.
speaking. And because when I talk about kindness to a bunch of leaders, and this is no shame to anybody, I do get a little side eye, like, we're going to be kind at work.
Yeah.
This is work.
Skepticism.
This is work. And I say, well, let's talk about what you think kindness is, right? And these are words I actually got: fluffy, squishy. I'm like, I don't know if those are adjectives I would have worked. Maybe a sign of weakness. And I said, okay, let's talk about this because I love that I've got them. We're having the conversation. And I had a level set with this group of folks and many groups of people. And let's talk about what kindness is and what it's not. Kindness is not performative. I'm going to be kind to my level and up, or only when I need something. It doesn't mean I'm going to withhold my opinion or I'm not going to argue my point. It doesn't mean I'm going to allow poor performance or I'm going to let somebody treat me the way that they shouldn't treat me. It's none of those things. It is how we do it. It is clarity with care, feedback with support. It's correcting behavior with the benefit of the doubt in mind and extending grace and really being open to a dialogue instead of just saying, hey, don't do this to me or you crossed the boundary. One thing is that's going to happen inevitably is that we are going to step into it. Usually, um, it's going to happen. We're human, right? And it's what we do afterwards that fixes it. So I tell people when we talk about kindness, take perfection off your shoulders because you're going to step into it, but the way you rectify it will actually help strengthen the relationship. So I had to talk about what it is and what it's not, and I think they get it. Everybody wants it, George. I have a friend that's in construction. He said to me, kindness would never work here. I said it would,
Mm,
it does, and they want it. You may not, it may look different than maybe a biotech company or something else, but if somebody's going to be late, and I'm not saying chronically late, but a little bit late, they don't want their manager or their boss to be like, give them a hard time. It's like, okay, see you when you get here. Or if somebody has to leave early, you don't want a hard time. Be like, hey, no problem. Do what you need to do. Family first. They all want it. And it
mm,
all maps to kindness.
yeah. That's great. As I sit here and think, Jamie, being an HR practitioner myself for many, many years, and I was so fortunate to have a CFO that truly understood the people investment. But
Mhm.
for programs like this, right, for companies that are thinking of maybe bringing you in or doing something similar where they're really trying to really create that culture of positivity and psychological safety quite often, and not to stereotype every CFO, but CFOs have a job to do. And, they look through the lens of, hey, if you're making this investment, what's the ROI? Why is this the right thing to do for the organization? And appropriately so that they ask the question. So how do you connect kindness to hard business outcomes like finance? What's the return on investment? How is it linked to retention and engagement? So do you have thoughts around that?
Oh, yeah. I have to reach an audience somehow. I
Yeah.
need to bring them in. And sometimes people are just like, oh, yeah, kindness, no brainer. That's why I'm saying it's kind of a skill set. Some people are better than others. But you're right. It costs money. It's an investment. It's a time. You have to
Mhm.
take time to focus on it. And it does impact the bottom line. Culture is not on a P&L, but it should be because it is a big indicator of the health
Yeah.
of your business, right? And when people are kinder to each other, when they're working with each other and not around each other, and when they have the safety to ask for things and speak up and give opinions, and it's welcomed, it's not dismissed or belittled, people will stay.
Yeah.
People will stay. And then success will happen as well because now people are talking to one another and they're sharing ideas and maybe they're going to get to a better place than they would have if they were just thinking siloed, right? If they weren't collaborating. Yeah, people want to stay and they will stay. So knowledge is staying, retention is low, engagement is high, productivity is high. People aren't silently quitting, which is that buzzword, but it's true. Looking for
Yeah.
the next thing and doing the bare minimum And there are some stats out there as to what kind cultures look like in using the word kind and the retention that's there. Outside of it's the right thing to do. But yeah, there's a real business. There is a business to kindness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for that. And we saw that firsthand at the university where I was. We had, 7+ years investing in our positive organizational culture where kindness was a component. And I remember seeing the proof of our volunteer turnover. We always had low turnover, but when we would hover around 12% and then see it dwindle to 6% in 1 year, that was huge.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. There's a lot of misconceptions about what kindness is, and maybe more importantly, what it's not. So you and I have talked about that, and you've explained it to me, but I'd love you to explain it to the audience if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. It is really interesting because I'll give an example that I think a lot of people can relate to. It's a little bit about nice versus kind, right?
Yeah.
Um, Nice would be George. I've got to tell him. I got to give him some feedback. You're perfect. Just this is just an example, right? So
Oh yeah.
yes, I got to give George some feedback,
Yeah.
but I don't want to. He's a nice guy. I don't want to rock the boat, right? So I'll just not say anything. I may tell
Mm,
other people, but I won't tell George. That's
mm,
triangulation. It's not nice. It's not even kind. But I'm just going to let you keep doing things that could frustrate me or others because I don't want to mess with our relationship. Being kind would being supportive of your career and how in your reputation and how people see you and bringing you in and saying, George, hey, I've noticed a couple of things at the last few meetings. Tell me what you think of them. How do you think you did? How do you think people responded to what you were presenting? I've got some
mm.
thoughts if you're open to it. I've got some ideas for you, but let me hear from you first. And then you go in there with some ideas, thoughts, and some supportive feedback. Now, it could be more direct. It could be the third time. Be like, George, we've talked about this. What do you need from me? What am I not doing for you? So I'm not saying we let these things slide. Um, Another example of what kindness is and what it's not is you get an email. I think email still is the way we communicate, right? It's just our way, or Slack or Teams, and you get something that is very emotionally charged. You react to it immediately. Immediately, you're like, who do you think you are? Boom! It's a missile in your inbox.
Yeah.
Now, kindness doesn't mean we tolerate that or we don't, kowtow or just like, oh, whatever you need. It's maybe giving them the benefit of the doubt, saying, okay, you know what? I know this person. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It may not mean what they think it means. It may not be that intense. Or I'm going to extend grace to this person. We're all having a bad day. I'll circle back with them later. But and if it happens again, we'll have a conversation about it. But it is not firing back at the same intensity, negativity meeting negativity.
Yeah.
That's example of what kindness is and what kindness isn't. It's not you tolerate or you're going to let people speak to you or write to you in that way. It's just how you approach it, right? It doesn't mean shrinking ourselves or not saying anything or not correcting it. It's just the way we do it. And it is not easy. It is not easy to do. That's why
Yeah.
if we can be kinder and more aware, that is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah. That's so true and so well said. And Jamie, just I think we can agree just, in our world today, a world that's just grappling with division, uncertainty, rapid change, kindness, I don't think it's no longer just a virtue. And in some instances, it's more of a lifeline. And it, at least to me, reminds us of shared humanity and offers a kind of a quiet, powerful resistance to fear, isolation, and indifferences that many people are feeling today. And I don't know, to me, kindness has never been at a bigger deficit. Do you agree?
Oh, wholeheartedly. 2 points I'd love to make on that, George, is
Yeah.
one thing, regardless of political party, background, where you're from, how you were brought up, every human being wants one thing. We want the same thing. We want to matter to one another. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be valued. Does what I say mean anything to you? That is a human want and it crosses all boundaries, right? We all want that. And you're right, we are at a deficit. So we do have that in common. And this is not a work-related example, but it really reminds me of something you said. It just this experience I had when I was writing kind cards. I was trying to map acts of kindness that I saw. Like I could be watching TV, or I could be watching a movie, or I would be even kinder out in the wild, as I say, at Market Basket or CVS, and I really, wanted to see how people responded. Kind of my test market, and I would be like, oh, do I have a card for that? And it works because this person really smiled and they were happy. But then I also saw where we are unkind and where a deficit could be. I was at BJ's, and it's like a Costco's for those who know, and they give out food there. And there was this older woman who was behind her little food stall, and she was giving away pomegranate seeds. And an even older woman went and got them, and she dropped them. And pomegranate seeds, they go right all over the floor.
Mm,
So I could tell instantly two things about the woman who dropped them. One, I think she was embarrassed. And two, she was also thinking, how am I going to pick these up? Because yeah, she was a little older. So of course I went to the woman who gave them. I said, hey, can I have some of your napkins? I'm going to go help her. And the woman followed me to the woman that dropped them. And I'm picking up the pomegranate seeds. And both women are around me telling me how nice I was, how kind I was. And was God bless me. They were just so sweet. And I just looked up. I'm like, of course I'm going to help you. And I
yeah,
said, isn't that what we're here for? To help one another. We're put here to do that. And she said, yes, we are, but not all people know that or do that. And
yeah,
I was like, George, there is no reason why people should have been so shocked that I was helping out an older woman. It was like, I'm like, we are at a deficit. It was almost like I was a unicorn helping something like
yeah,
all I saw was another human being. I didn't know what her background is. I just saw somebody who needs a little bit of help. And I think if we take that mindset
yeah,
at work, because I can't change the world or control the world as much as I would like to, I can influence the workplace. So if we go to the workplace and realize what everybody wants, it's all acts of kindness, to be seen, to be heard, to be listened to, it all acts of kindness. We will all connect better. We will
yeah,
include more. And I just think it's what the world truly needs, probably more than ever, because I think we always needed it, but with social media, we can see what other people are doing, and it can just drain, can be just sad to look.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's great. Thank you. What a story. So, all right. So where can people find these kind cards?
I love that. Thank you for the question. I was like, where can we find them? They are at getkindcards.com. Getkindcards.com. It's quick and easy to get in there. I am working on getting them on Amazon because I know people like, are you on Amazon yet? Probably within a month, but you can get them
Okay,
at getkindcards.com. There's also a playbook because there's so many different ways to use the cards. You get an hour with me, and I can help you think through of how you can use them with your teams, your leaders, kindness contests, culture initiatives, all of those things.
great. Well, thank you so much. And really, Jamie, thank you for, you know, having breakfast with Boyden today, and I can share, happily that, I'm proud to be a principal at Boyden where it is an extremely kind culture. So this will resonate with us, Boydenians out there. And hopefully it resonates with those that have found this video and are watching. So, Jamie, thank you so much for your time today, sharing your expertise, your wisdom, and your kind cards.
George, thank you so much. It's always great to chat with you, and you are one of the kindest guys I know,
Uh,
genuinely kind. So, thank you for your time today.
you're
Appreciate it.
very, very welcome. Thank you, Jamie.